As you all know, the weather gets a little bit weird around here. Is there any way we can control this? Maybe reduce the risk is the word to use. Reduce it to a level where we can have something that we can depend on in the backyard. Well, we start with the concept of hoop houses. These are non-heated structures. They're fairly simple to operate, to manage. They're just one layer of plastic, right, over a greenhouse frame. We open them up to vent, close it, to gather the sun's energy to speed up the growth of the plant. They do not protect tomatoes against freezing weather. Usually by morning, the temperature inside the house is the same as that ambient or outside temperature. But we can use them to protect against some wind, small hail, animals of all different types. We can also, if used in combination with floating row covers, we can protect against freezes to a certain degree. We're not going to be able to grow tomatoes in there during the wintertime because there's no heat, right? But wow, these things work great and they continue to catch on everywhere. You can purchase these as kits or build your own. Most of the time, what I find is a lot of folks just kind of do a combination of both. They'll buy a frame and then they'll kind of modify it according to what they want to. PVC, small houses, fine. I would go with the gray PVC pipe. It'll last a little longer outside. The white is more for interior use. You're going to have some structural support with that, right? It's not very strong. It breaks under too much stress, wind. You can build them out of top rail chain link fence tubing. You can buy benders to do this. This is poly pipe, industrial, the oil field pipe. This is 2 inch, 3 inches, a little better material. It's thick, about a 1/4 inch wall thickness. This stuff is laying around a lot of places. You can access enough of it free to build your house, save some money. That's another option for you. Cattle panel, you know, if it's what you want to do, try it. There's no perfect material, but there's some better than others. Okay, let's move to the greenhouse now. That was modified controlled or semi-controlled, the hoop house concept environment. Now we're moving to controlled environment, right? We've got a source of heat. We've got a source of electricity for venting, for fans. The natural gas provide the heat. We usually have a little better quality film on that. That is a rigid material, polycarbonate. It's stronger, more hail resistant. You're going now from $6 below to maybe $6 above per square foot on houses like this. You're going to spend more, but you get more of what you're able to do with them. I like houses that have some type of a building attached to them because I can store all my materials and I don't have to go outside. People fill up their valuable growing space with potting soil and pots and stuff where they need to be using that space to grow plants. All that stuff, even your potting site, can be attached to the house, like this one might be. And I'm not sure if this one actually has a door, but you get the concept. It's nice to have them contiguous one another. On the materials, the covering materials, polyethylene, 10 cents a square foot for 4-year film. This is the cheaper stuff on the hoop houses, all up to the twin wall polycarbonate 180. So it's a lot more expensive, but this will last 10 years. This is 4-year film. This is what a polycarbonate panel looks like. This kind of, you know, corrugated, several different styles. And then this is the double wall stuff, a little bit more energy efficient because it has that dead air space there. How do we cool a house? Because we have a fan, we can take advantage of this opportunity of evaporative cooling. And those of us that are a little up in age can remember the swamp cooler. You know, I remember growing up, we had a swamp cooler in our house. No air conditioning at the time. And the air was always musty, but it was cooler. Same concept. You pull dry, warm air through this pad, and you saturate it with water, and the air coming out of it is saturated, and when you get that phase change, you get a drop in temperature. The drier the air coming in, the more drop in temperature you can achieve. It's incredible. And this is more efficient out west than it is here in central Oklahoma, but it still works. If you want to be able to grow tomatoes and get them to fruit in August in Oklahoma, or peppers, you can use this kind of a system. Here's your pad on one side. That's where the water flows through. And then on the other side of the house, you have a negative pressure fan that pulls air through the house. There they are, exhaust fans. And that's what keeps the house cool. The same concept can work on a smaller house. There's your swamp cooler. It just doesn't have the surface area, so it's not going to be as efficient. If I was spending the money to do it, I would go the other way. You'll be much more pleased with the results because that cool weather is It's partitioned across the house, the cool air rather, instead of just in one spot coming through that house as you see it. We can also exhaust hot air from the top of the house that builds up if we have some fans available to us, electricity. And we have all types of vents, either automatic. This one is a gas-powered vent. The warmer it gets, it's got alcohol in it that it actually turns into a gas which forces that piston up and opens that vent. And then shade, there's illuminate, there's black, there's all different colors of shades, but the idea here is just to reduce the amount of solar energy that enters the house, but not to such a level that your plants start to grow tall and spindly. Okay, you're going to need some heat. You want to vent to the outside if you put a portable heater in there. If you have a tight house in the wintertime and you don't want that cold air infiltrating, but the house is too tight, if it's not vented to the outside, that firebox, it'll burn up all the oxygen, or a lot of it rather, in the house, and you'll start having off-gassing, ethylene, because there's not enough oxygen for that flame, and then you'll get this ethylene gas which will kill your plants or injure them severely. You'll need some benching, because you're going to be growing all types of plants, especially transplants for your garden. And then if you have a choice, if you could mount that on the south side of a building, you'll cut down your energy consumption tremendously, because that north wall is really susceptible to that energy loss. Whether it be a hoop house or a greenhouse, you really don't need the north. The north is shaded. The sun is overhead to the south in this country. It doesn't go far to the north, past the vertical.